There's just so much.
You're listening to a Mamamia podcast.
Mamamia acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we have recorded this podcast on, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. We pay our respects to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures.
Hello and welcome to Cancelled, the podcast about celebrities who have been cancelled by the internet with varying levels of success. My name is Jessie Stevens. I'm Claire Stevens. And before we begin, I thought I'd try a new thing. Oh no. Where I or you share things that have been annoying us about the internet. Okay, yeah, that's fun. It's relevant. Because this is really about the internet starting shit, really, this podcast. And I was thinking recently that I don't like it when people call someone out, send a message, start yelling about something that's upset them. I saw this recently with an influencer who had done a project. It wasn't offensive. It just hadn't addressed a particular issue that this one person thought it really should have addressed. Yeah. So she had DM'd this influencer and blah, blah, blah. And now she was yelling on TikTok, trying to get her attention. So she replies to me. It is not her job to reply to you. No, it's actually not. But I can see how you think that it is. She does not work for you. She's not an employee of yours. No, she is not an employee of yours. You're not managing her. You don't do her achievement plan. If you were her boss and she was ghosting you, she's on the payroll. Yes. Yeah. Call her and say, hey, I haven't seen you in 2 weeks. I mean, with that said, you can bitch about it. Oh, go for it. Comment thread. Yeah. I mean, it's freedom of speech. But no, somebody isn't obliged. The demanding of the response. I sometimes get it where someone will say something really mean and I'll go, well, you haven't replied. And I'm like, I didn't want to. What was I meant to say? Exactly. Thank you for your feedback. It's lovely. I take it on. I'll make sure my forehead is smaller in future. I will delete all of everything I have created. Okay, well, that was a fun little insight. But Jessie, today on the show, we are talking about Kim Kardashian.
Don't be fucking rude.
Are you kidding me?
I swear to God, don't be fucking rude and throw the thing on me. I'll fucking hurt you.
My diamond earring's gone. Kim, there's people that are dying.
It seems like nobody wants to work these days.
That's so true.
You have to surround yourself with people that want to work.
We've spoken about a couple of members of the Kardashian family. Khloe, also Kendall. Yes. And as I'm sure you're aware, Jessie, there's this really important rule in courtrooms that we have to abide by. And obviously we're incredibly strict. That's what's fun about this is that we do learn more law lingo every week. And make up our own. Along with the listeners. Yeah. We really hold them by the hand in that they probably know more about the court than we do. Yes. It turns out that if something has been brought up in another court case, you can't bring it up again. Is that actually true? No, it's not, but it is true for our courtroom. Okay. Because I don't want it to feel repetitive. For example, quick trim. Already talked about it, inadmissible. Prosecuted. Yeah. Already prosecuted Slim Fast. We'll touch on it, sure, but it's not going to be a huge chunk of what we talk about. Great. Obviously, this is going to be a two-parter. There's simply could have been an 8-parter. Too much to cover with old Kimbo. Kimberly Noel Kardashian. Oh, damn it. I ruined your line. I thought it was pronounced Noel. N-O-E-L. Yeah. Noel? I read Noel. Okay. I've tried to divide these episodes by Kim pre- and post-Kanye era, but by post I mean after they've broken up, and that is very loose, okay? Because as always, this is guided by my gut, my interests, and where I thought the topics should go. It's very guided by external Wikipedia links, is what I've found. God, because I go diet culture and then I go, cultural appropriate, and it's guided by an algorithm. It's also guided by what I've seen on my personal For You page on TikTok. Yeah. And that is going to guide the decisions I make content-wise. That's when you know you've got some serious rigor around what you're doing. My structure for today's episode is as follows. Kim, let me eat. And that's about the promotion of appetite suppressants. Her attempts to sing and act. Her 72-day marriage. And animal welfare. That is one of my favourite topics on this show. Jessie, I want you to be North. Do you know why? Because she's sassy. Yeah.
You know what she has in terms of Venn diagram of vibe? Her and Princess Charlotte
Okay.
overlap. I think
Alright.
they would be kindred spirits.
Okay. Because she just thinks her mum's a bit cringe.
She's a bit big on the TikTok.
Yeah, she is. That's who you are.
Okay.
First, a bit about Kim Kardashian. You spoiled the middle name. Thanks for that. She's 41 and she's worth $1.8 billion. It's a lot. Jessie,
More than her poor sister. We did work out, didn't we?
think
Chloe's the
Courtney-
poorest.
Oh, okay,
Chloe's-
no.
because we discussed poosh.
Okay, we did. Jessie, what is your personal favourite Kim Kardashian moment?
The earring in Bora Bora.
Okay, and explain that a little bit more.
It's more a feeling. She's in Bora Bora.
Uh-huh.
She loses an earring.
Yep. And what gets yelled at her? Kim, there's people that are dying.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what Courtney yells because Kim's overreacting. to
And
the
she cries,
earring.
and she's a really ugly crier, and her sisters give her a lot of crap about it.
Yes.
Which is something that I relate to. Because in our family, I'm the ugly crier, and I have a tendency of when I cry, especially as a child, I would start to eat to comfort myself.
And
so
it made it uglier.
Uglier.
Because your mouth was making shapes around food while you were crying, and we were like, oh.
yeah. So every time someone would impersonate me and my family, you would cry and eat chips at the same time. Be like, who am I? Who am I? It was me.
My personal favourite Kim moment was actually when there's an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians where she noticed Kris was missing her kids, mostly the girls, not so much Rob. And so
We
she...
need to do a cancelled episode on Rob because I don't know if he even has a wiki page.
I don't think he's doing so well. So Kim rented Kris a chimp for a week. The chimp's name was Susie, and Kim kind of dressed up in baby clothes, made it wear a nappy, and just dropped it at Chris's house. It was so funny. It was really good content. There'll be more on that. That's a teaser.
Animal welfare.
Yes.
All right.
Let's get into my first topic. Kim, let me eat. We've spoken before about how one of our earliest memories of the Kardashians is when they were advertising Quick Trim in those purple bikinis.
It was very like you walked into a pharmacy in 07, 08.
Yeah.
And Kim Kardashian was like, why eat when you could not?
Yeah, exactly. And the main ingredient in that was caffeine. And in 2012, they were sued because it didn't work, right? And they argued, Kim's legal team argued, well, is it a spokesperson's fault if the product they're endorsing doesn't work? We didn't make it. So that's where she's starting from in terms of her philosophy. You might think that after the Quick Trim moment, she thought, you know what? I am making a lot of money. I don't need to endorse weight loss products specifically.
You know how people who are doing well and have a well-established career often have no sponsored posts written on their Instagram? I've noticed Mia does it because she's like, oh, I've got my company.
Yeah,
And
I've got a business.
Sally Hepworth, she's an author. I don't do sponsored things. I write my books. At what point does Kim Kardashian go, I have enough money?
I don't need SponCon.
I don't need SponCon. But instead, she's like,
She loves it.
I'm 40. Here's a new pair of underpants. Really, Kim?
She gets paid like $800,000 for a sponsored post. Years after the Quick Trim fiasco, in 2018, Kim posts a photo to Instagram.
Too recent.
It's too recent. Advertising Flat Tummy Co.'s appetite suppression lollipops. Do you remember this image? Her with the
Yes,
lollipop
very
in her
much.
mouth. She described them as literally unreal, which is probably true because they don't do
work.
anything. And she directed her followers to try them. She got a lot of backlash, including from actor and radio host Jamila Jamil, who said the Kardashians broadly are selling us self-consciousness and are double agents for the patriarchy. I don't even know if we need to explain why it's so problematic, but there's no way Kim Kardashian achieved a completely different body to the one she grew up with by sucking on anti-suppressant lollipops.
It's just one of those things. So, like, Jamila Jamil came out and she had really good points and stuff, and you just want to shrug your shoulders and go, yeah, she's a double agent for the patriarchy.
Yeah.
She lost her earring in Bora Bora. Like, I'm not losing sleep over Kim
She gave
Kardashian's
Kris a
photo.
chimp. I don't expect sense from this woman. I never have. Look, it's problematic because it's like always directed at women.
In Kim's defense, isn't this character growth, which we always try and reward, because Quick Trim I thought was a shit yourself laxative, whereas the lollipop
is an appetite
is an
suppressant.
appetite. Is that
So we're
growth?
stopping before the shit. Okay, lovely. No, see, I've got in my notes, women are allowed to eat, Kim.
I've got that in my notes.
Right.
She needs
She's
to
eating.
know that.
She's having a lollipop.
Okay. Not enough. It's not enough, okay?
I mean, she talks about diets now, and I'm like, this is how I feel in 2022. Let the woman diet. Let the woman diet. I'll have my KFC chips. I'm sucking on a Pepsi Max. We're all doing our best. I think that's incredibly problematic, but I shan't be bothered interrogating.
Okay.
Moving on to her attempts to sing and act, which is more what this podcast is about. Kim did once try to explain to North, that's you, why her parents were so famous. And her quote was, "Daddy is a singer, performer, artist. Mummy has so many talents I can't even begin to name them," which is genuinely hilarious. She couldn't name them. Those talents, it seems, are not singing or acting. Because, Jessie, I'm going to play you a song. Spoiler, that song is sung by Kimberly Noel Kardashian. My favourite lyrics are in this bit. Girls in the building, fellas in the club, boys spending money, girls looking good. Rhyme. You may notice none of that rhymes. I'm on the floor living my life, feeling so good, feeling so right. Got my hands up, celebrate like it's my birthday.
So I listened to this because I said, I don't think Kimberly Noel Kardashian has ever written a song. And then I found this and I thought, this is the best thing I've ever heard. I don't know why it's not playing all the time. It is a mishmash of every phrase you would put into a song, such as, you're going out tonight, right?
Yep.
That's something you'd put in your song. Jam, turn it up. Turn it up, turn it up. Mentioning paying your bills, but not necessarily how, but that you're doing it because if you don't, then you get into debt and that is stressful for the person trying to dance. Okay? So if I wrote a pop song.
Trying to be relatable. I pay my bills.
I pay my bills.
Okay.
I've got bills, I paid them.
Yeah.
And you go, thank God. If I wrote a pop song.
It's 2 a.m. on a Saturday night. I can't be thinking about your bills, Kim.
I would sing Turn It Up, the music, dance, like you mean it.
Yeah.
In the club all night, dancing, naughty dancing. I'd put something in there about naughty dancing, paying my bills, working so hard so I can play hard. I'd put baby in there, like, yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Or something in the background. $dollar bills to pay my bills.
Tonight, 17 times.
Tonight. Don't get into debt so you can party and stay up all night.
Okay. I just have to mention, special shout out for the final line. Killer, I run music. Kimmy.
I love her.
These are the comments on the YouTube clip because you did have a good point about the pop songs. One of the comments is, this song is like if you tried explaining pop music to an alien and that's what they would do.
But what's so confusing about it is that it's like an AI, like you put all the terms into an AI machine and it spun out a pop song, but it sucked.
It's wild.
Wait, why? What? What I love about this stage of Kim Kardashian's career is that I will term it in her biography called Kimberly Noel Kardashian, My Story.
Yeah.
This will be under the subheading, throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks.
See, I had more of, this is why we don't say yes to everything. That was the period where
I
she
don't
was
think
like,
anyone ever asked her this. I think this was...
You think she was
Put her
proactive?
hand up. Yeah.
Okay. Well, a couple of other just comments from the YouTube clip. I listened to this song to cure my depression because I know nothing can get worse than this. You can hear the pain in her voice when she tries to sing up and down a semitone. And
She actually, it's a speaking song.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
she doesn't really sing. And then this makes me feel better about my mistakes in life.
Yes.
I actually agree with that. Now, moving on, because Kim has had a few acting stints. I personally really enjoy that she had this phase of her life where, again, she said yes to everything, including disaster movie. I'm less interested in the times she appeared as herself.
Which is often.
But she's bad
in that too.
But I'm more interested in the times she genuinely tried to act, like in a TV show called Beyond the Break and a movie called American Hot Babes. But just a moment for disaster movie.
I got the hiccups.
Oh no, we know things go downhill when you get hiccups. This was in that era of Scary Movie and Not Another Teen Movie, which were brilliant. But then they tried to do Disaster Movie, and it was so strange because it was just actors who looked like far more famous actors who were in mainstream movies.
So who was in?
But not necessarily disaster movies. So no one famous except for Kim Kardashian and Carmen Electra. But everyone else just looked like the guy from Superbad.
Because when I heard you say Kim Kardashian was in movies, I was like, oh, yeah, House of Wax. That was Paris Hilton, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. But Disaster Movie was in the same
era, sure. So Kim plays Lisa, whose main role is being hot. Disaster Movie has an approval rating of 1% on Rotten Tomatoes. And here's what the reviews at the time said. Nothing can convey the grimness of Disaster Movie, which would be the worst movie ever were it actually a movie at all.
Oh.
Yeah. I just don't see how anyone could not find Disaster Movie one of the worst films of all time.
Is it a satire?
It's meant to be comedy. It's not funny. Kim has since said she's mortified by it and cannot watch it back. She also won a Razzie for Worst Supporting Actor for her role in Temptation, Confessions of a Marriage Counselor, and that was really, really bad.
So she wasn't playing herself in that either?
No, she was playing Ava.
I saw her in 90210 and I saw another clip where she had a fight with someone and they put like a bowl of slime over her head.
Oh, yeah. She had to be shocked. I don't think she's as bad as you would think she would be.
She just is very deadpan. She's very expressionless.
Which is her. If you know her like I know her, she's just quite
very
authentic.
Kim, very Kim.
Moving on to her 72-day marriage. In 2011, Kim Kardashian married Kris Humphries in a wedding that cost $10 million. They'd been dating for 7 months. I just want it on the record that she was like late 20s, which is quite late for a 72-day marriage.
Wasn't it her second marriage too?
Yes. Their ceremony aired on Keeping Up with the Kardashians 2 months after the wedding, and Kim filed for divorce the very same month. When she filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences, Kris said publicly that he wasn't done fighting for their relationship. Then he tried to claim there was fraud involved because she had signed, they had done a prenup saying anything she earned during the course of their marriage was hers. And so he was like, this is all a setup to make money. But it ended up, they just filed irreconcilable differences. There was no truth to the fraud claims.
Wait, so was there an annulment?
No.
Okay, there couldn't be.
They made about $18 million for their wedding with media
they made
deals.
a profit.
Yeah, so that was an $8 million profit. So well done. Great business
Did you know
transaction.
that Avril Lavigne was in attendance as a guest?
Okay.
Didn't know they were friends.
And yeah, I didn't know. Are they? Maybe not.
What do they talk about other than, again, 2003?
I think a lot of Kim's relationships are based on that.
Big year for us. Also, Serena Williams was there.
Okay.
I looked up the guest list. Yeah. You have 400 people. 450 closest friends and family.
Well, I did think, how do you spend $10 million?
There you go.
450
they
people.
also had, I listened to someone who was like a wedding expert talking about their wedding, saying they had a 10-tier cake that was based off Will and
of
Kate.
course. Okay.
Oh, it had cookies in it or something.
Lovely.
She was describing the cookie. Oh, I'm salivating.
The Kardashians know how to do a cake.
Yeah,
They do.
Lovely.
My favourite thing about this whole moment, though,
Chocolate chip frosting. Sorry, I wrote it down. Chocolate chip frosting.
was the episode of the Kardashians when Kim and Kris Jenner were in Dubai and they had a conversation about Kim feeling funny about her husband. I've always loved this moment because Kris was like, are you excited to get home to your hubby? And Kim was like, And Kris was like, well? And then Kim said, not really, I don't know, I can't really explain it. I feel a sense of relief that I'm here. And basically, Mum, I didn't want to tell you about it, but I'm kind of freaking out. There's something in my relationship that isn't right. And she's like, oh, but do you think that's normal? And Kris, her quote is, no, Kim, is not normal. It really isn't normal to feel like you don't want to go home to your brand new husband. I remember watching that and thinking, we've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all been overseas and gone, oh no, I enjoy being away more than with that person. And I've realised it, and I'm going to have to break up with them. The difference is we didn't have a $10 million wedding.
That's so embarrassing.
Yeah. And she says that...
it was a fuss.
It was a big fuss. She says she didn't feel like she could back out and she didn't feel like she could break up with someone or say no. And I just think there really is a common thread here in not saying no when we should have said no.
Mm.
And it's Jam is the song. It's a Disaster Movie and it's Kris Humphries.
Moving on to animal welfare, my favourite topic. Last year, Kim adopted a bearded dragon for North. Jessie.
Thanks, Mum.
Jessie.
That's the only time I've been North the entire episode.
I'm going to show you some photos of the pet.
I mean, I know.
Who they named Speed. And you're going to tell me how
dragon.
you think it's going for Speed. Just describe what you see in those photos.
Okay. This is like when I put a T-shirt on my dog and my partner gets me in trouble because he says this is more for you than her.
Okay.
Speed is wrapped in either a matching dressing gown to North or potentially just the same dressing gown.
It's Skims. It's custom-made Skims.
Okay, it's custom-made Skims for Speed. So Speed looks tightly wrapped up, a little too tight. I don't think Speed, given that Speed is a reptile and we know that they have been evolving for a long time, I don't think Speed needs a jumper. I think Speed is warm enough.
Do you notice anything else? Do you notice something,
it looks depressed.
Something strange on Speed's head?
I thought that was just part of being a dragon.
No. That is...
It's like a red dot.
That's a jewel.
Oh,
That's
no.
a jewel.
We're bejeweling Speed.
We're bejeweling Speed's head. Now, people got really upset. They said, stop dressing him. They actually breathe through their skin.
So it's like putting like an actual something over someone's mouth.
Yeah. An expert said, bearded dragons make excellent pets for children, provided they get the right care.
This is a problem with the internet. If you post anything, there's going to be someone who knows more about bearded dragons than you, and you're doing it wrong.
As they are cold-blooded, they need to warm their bodies by basking under specialist reptile heat lamps, not by wearing designer clothing. That feels like a dig. So when that happened, the bearded dragon controversy, and everyone said, Kim, no, honey, let's take the Skims off Speed. Let's take the jewel off.
Yeah.
Also, Speed belongs in a different climate. Speed belongs in Central Australia.
Don't all our pets belong in different places?
Yes. But when that happened, everybody said, Kim, this isn't the first time.
And that's the
The
thing
issue
about
with the internet,
internet.
it remembers because they remembered Susie. Okay? Because Kim, she adopts Susie. And
that
Kim,
was, that was years ago,
and
wasn't it?
Kim posted on her blog, she had a blog at the time, saying, we got a monkey. People were really angry because Susie was not a monkey, Susie was a chimp. And they're different.
Okay.
I went back and watched this.
Animal people are very particular.
I just love Susie. Poor Chris is in her house and they bring Susie over, the sisters. And she keeps laughing and being like, Susie has a diaper on. Chris is like, you guys, why is there a monkey in the house? Again, Susie is not a monkey. Susie keeps stealing everyone's iPhones. Jessie, here are some photos of Susie. You're going to need to tell me what she
They are
is
screen
doing.
grabs from YouTube. So
Yep.
Susie is being fed with a spoon. Susie is having her nappy changed on the floor. Susie is making a salad. And Susie is in bed next to Chris playing with her hair.
She's patting her to sleep.
Okay.
Susie's patting Chris Jenner to sleep. So that is what I have for the first half of this episode.
There's more about animal welfare that you missed.
Was it the time that Kim rode the elephant in Indonesia?
Yeah.
I did have that, and I arbitrarily chose to remove it. But I do want to bring it up because we know a little bit about Americans and elephants, don't we, Jess?
We do. We had our own incident. So what happened with Kim was she posted a throwback to going, I miss the elephant at the elephant sanctuary. And sweetie, that ain't the vibe. That ain't a sanctuary for that elephant. And it was her and Kanye, and then they're like patting an elephant's bald head or something and just hanging out with elephants. And all these people were like, Kim, it's just not the done thing.
No.
You and I went to Thailand years ago, and we went to a elephant sanctuary on the internet. And
Why are we opening ourselves up to that?
Okay,
we didn't ride them.
we researched it, and it said it was an elephant sanctuary. So we went. We sat down. We went, we're going to watch some elephants be washed.
Yeah,
or
how
something.
beautiful would
How
that
lovely.
be?
Give them a little pat, little massage. No. The elephants were dancing to a song. Claire, what was the song?
Sha-la-la-la-la. I'm doing the step
Sha-la-la
in the morning.
Yes, and they were doing a little 4-step little dance.
They
and then
swayed.
They were swaying, and then there was another elephant in the corner who I think they called Picasso, who was painting a tree. And I said, quite audibly, this is disgusting. We're leaving. Okay? because I can see the scars on the elephant from when they've been injured when they weren't tra-la-la-la-la-ing as you wanted them to. And an American was sitting behind us, tapped me on the shoulder and said, they wouldn't do it if they didn't want to. And from then on, every time we think about an animal doing something it clearly does not want to do, we think, oh, they wouldn't do it if that animal did not spontaneously start dancing to that song.
And get rewarded.
And it didn't spontaneously paint that picture like Picasso.
No.
And Kim...
That's why we don't go and ride the elephants.
I think Kim thinks that. Kim's like, well, it wouldn't let me ride it if it didn't want me to.
It wouldn't paint a picture if it wasn't feeling inspired.
Jessie, that's all we've got time for on part 1. It was Rogue, and now we're moving on to more the post-Kanye era.
I'm very excited.
In part 2.
So we'll be talking about
Photoshop
you better
fails.
work.
You should work, you're lazy. The Marilyn Monroe dress conundrum.
Oh, the Allure interview with
There's
the
so
filler.
much.
Okay,
There's so
I'm
much.
very excited.
But if you do want to see receipts from today's episode, for example, if you do want to see Susie having her nappy changed, people calling Susie a monkey when she's not a monkey, we will be putting all of that on our Instagram at @the_twins_thoughts.
And if there's anyone you'd like us to do an episode on, please DM us at the Twins Thoughts on Instagram, and we will probably do it because that's where we get most of our ideas.
Yes.
So thank you so much for listening to this episode of Cancelled. This episode was produced by Emma Gillespie. We will chat to you next week.
Bye.
Bye. If you love the show, the best thing you can do is become a Mamamia subscriber. Mamamia subscribers get access to every podcast, exclusive videos, and all the great articles on Mamamia. If you believe in women's media, if you believe in a purpose-driven media company like Mamamia, whose core purpose is to make the world a better place for women and girls, then please see the link in our show notes.